Imagine it's 2026. You're watching Secret Wars. The movie is great. Exciting action, the cameos, cinematography, the cameos. It's a spectacle. We see all these different universes fighting to stay alive because of the incursions. But in the end, we establish that our current MCU is one of the few surviving universes after the battle. We see the heroes cutting their losses, we celebrate the W, we set up a new status quo, we end the movie, cut to black. Then we see an after credit scene. It's Spider-Man. He's back in New York, he's swinging through the city. As he lands on a rooftop, we hear a broadcast from a radio nearby.
Breaking news, Orcus is working on a new scientific breakthrough that promises to cure the X gene on all mutants.
Peter is kinda concerned about this, but then we see him take off his mask. The face behind the mask is not Tom Holland. It's actually revealed to be... No, we're not doing that. It's actually revealed to be some unknown actor that you've never seen in your life. We cut to black. This after credit scene will establish a new universe that will be the focus moving forward. This will be the catalyst to resetting the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It goes without saying that the MCU has had an amazing run since it started back in 2008. And it's crazy to think that when Secret Wars comes out, it's gonna be almost 20 years since the MCU started. Now, if we're being realistic, Disney's probably not gonna reset the Marvel Cinematic Universe after Secret Wars. They'll probably just keep telling stories with new actors and new concepts from the comic books. But unfortunately, that means that we won't see characters that we have lost in these new stories, which will make it a little difficult for stories where, let's say, Iron Man was an important character for the narrative. He will now have to be replaced with someone else. I also want to point out, if the MCU restarts, it wouldn't be the first time that a big franchise resets their universe. Just look at Godzilla, James Bond, Planet of the Apes. Unfortunately, actors get old and concepts become outdated, so it wouldn't be strange if Disney decides to reset the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It would actually be exciting to have a fresh start. So you're probably wondering, what would the MCU look like after a restart? Let me show you what I would do.
Phase 10, is that going to be Phase X? Is that one we're finally going to hear? Well, Phase X.
You want to wait till Phase 10 for the X-Men? All right. That's longer than I want to wait, but I guess.
Remember how cool it was to see the relationship between Charles Xavier and Magneto on X-Men's First Class, or the classic X-Men movies? That's what I would like this new universe to focus on, and give these two characters a complete arc by the end of everything, just like Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Chris Evans' Captain America had by the end of Avengers Endgame. So I would have a couple of movies and Disney Plus one-shots building up to the first X-Men title movie. And that first film will be inspired by the 1975 giant-sized X-Men. We will see Charles Xavier go around the world, gathering a small group of mutants to go on a mission to this island called Krakoa to rescue the actual X-Men team. This will introduce us to the character of Charles Xavier and his motives and things that he's keeping secret. We can introduce Orcus, an organization that wants to stop more mutants from being born. And we can start planting the seeds to things that will play out later on in the future. Next, I would do a Disney Plus one-shot about Jean Grey before integrating her to the X-Men, and it will be all about her origins and exploring this character, and then we'll slowly build up towards the Dark Phoenix movie, which it seems like Fox just could not get right. Seriously, they tried this story twice and they cannot get it. After the mission on Krakoa and before the first X-Men title movie, I would definitely have a Wolverine movie where we explore his origins, and it goes without saying that whoever will play this character next has big shoes to fill because Hugh Jackman was so good in this role and he played the character for so long that the next person would really have to be amazing in this role. Finally, we would have our first X-Men movie, and the team would be a mix of the X-Men members that were stuck in Krakoa and the new mutants that helped bring them back. So you know the classics: Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Beast, and Charles Xavier. I should also mention that this will be the first time that we are introduced to Magneto, and right from the start, we should establish that this guy is not playing around. You know, like when Thanos first came out in Infinity War, you know that he meant business. So by the end of the film, we would have a good understanding of where Magneto and Charles Xavier stand and how their views are different, but also how they have some common ground. So as you noticed, the mutants will be the main focus of this new run. However, that doesn't mean that all the movies and all the shows and one-shots will have to be focused on the mutants. We can also have different stories playing at the same time that will connect to our X-Men narrative, and others that don't necessarily have to connect. They will be taking place in their own corner of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. For example, we can go into the cosmics and do an Annihilation movie. We can redo the Eternals and adapt Karen Gillan's amazing run on the comics. We can do Strange Academy, where we follow a group of students just like in Harry Potter and It's a Magic School. Speaking of Doctor Strange, we can do a Defenders movie where we see him team up with the Hulk and the Silver Surfer. And Spider-Man, we can have him team up with Miles Morales and explore his corner of this universe. We can have a Norman Osborn and an Oscorp, something that the previous trilogy didn't really do. And no, I did not forget about Iron Man and Captain America. It would be fun to watch some sort of Uncanny Avengers storyline where some of the Avengers team up with some mutants. We can also do a deeper exploration of Steve Rogers in the past before he went in the ice. And also we can explore the dark side of Tony Stark, maybe him dealing with alcoholism. I know it's Disney, they probably won't do that. But maybe we can explore the superior Iron Man storyline.
She didn't do this, Hank. You did.
At some point, we would have to start breaking the team and even start killing off some characters. That's right, we're not gonna be afraid to kill our characters. And the first impact will be felt in a Dark Phoenix movie, where I will go as far as to sacrifice Jean Grey, and that would leave the team, especially Cyclops, devastated. The second punch will come in the form of an Avengers vs X-Men movie, where we start seeing Tony Stark and Steve Rogers have questions regarding the X-Men. They're worried about the aftermath of the Dark Phoenix and all the destruction. They're starting to wonder whether the mutants community should be kept in check. We would see Orchis jump in and make their case for how it would be a bad thing if mutants were the next evolution for humanity. To make matters worse, the next couple of films could be about the conflict in the mutant community and how some people still agree with Charles Xavier, who thinks that there's still hope to get along with humanity. And then the other side would be the complete opposite, which is where Magneto stands. This could lead to the members of the X-Men team leaving, and we could start seeing the formation of smaller teams. And this could be a good opportunity to introduce more classic villains for the teams to face. Also, quick side note, recently in the comics it was established that Mr. Sinister is just a clone of the actual Nathaniel Essex, so it will be cool to play around with that idea in the films and have him face one of the teams or even lead one of the teams. We can also establish him as the person you go to for the topic of generics and cloning.
So you really haven't seen her in all these years? And you never looked her up? Not even in Cerebro?
Alex, what do you take me for? Some kind of pervert? Yes, I looked her up once.
After a few years, we will finally come full circle. And at some point, it will be revealed that during the first mission to Krakoa, somebody in the team was given a secret assignment by Charles Xavier that could also pay off the question of where that character was during the mission. The secret assignment was to keep another character safe, a character that was kept hidden in Krakoa. You see, Orchis knew that Charles Xavier was hiding something or someone in the island, and that someone is revealed to be
Moira McTaggart.
If you know the story, you know where I'm going with this. The following events will be heavily inspired by Jonathan Hickman's sci-fi epic House of X and Powers of X. It will be established that at some point in the timeline, Moira McTaggart approached Charles Xavier and told him everything. Let me explain what I mean by everything. Moira McTaggart is a mutant, and her power is to reset the timeline every time she dies. She can only do this 10 times. She's lived 9 lives. And the thing that she's gathered from all those previous lives is that in the end, the mutants always lose. So after Moira tells them everything, they'll have to get Magneto on board and they'll begin executing their plan, which includes making Krakoa their new nation for all mutants. And when I say all mutants, I mean all the mutants, even the bad ones will be there. Charles will get a really cool helmet, and this will kick off what I think will be a 2-movie event. Also, we will see what Orchis has been planning for the future, which means that we will see Nimrod for the first time on screen, and he will be the greatest threat that the X-Men have ever faced. Alright, and that's as far as I got with this fantasy roadmap for a new Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know there's still some loose ends, like what will we do with the young actors like Ms. Marvel? Do we recast them or keep the same actors? Do we recast Deadpool? And what about the Fantastic Four? They will be new characters by the time Secret Wars comes out. Honestly, these are questions that we probably won't have to worry about because, like I said earlier, Disney is probably not gonna reset the MCU after Secret Wars. However, I thought it would be nice to just ponder on the possibilities, and also it was fun to see what I would do in this situation. That's all I have. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.